Hi everyone, today we're going to be working on planning and organizing our thoughts for a narrative story where we get to pick the topic of our choice. So we are going to plan for a beginning, middle, and end to organize our thinking as we write throughout the week. So you'll notice that my paper is completely blank, which means I need to come up with a topic, something that I can tell a story about. A story is something that it could be made up or it could be something that's actually happened to you. So I'm thinking about a story that actually happened to me a couple of weeks ago, and it's happened more than once too, which is kind of the freaky part. But I usually call this, and it's in the backyard. And it's a backyard adventure. And it's going to be my job to show the reader through a beginning, a middle, and an end how my backyard has turned into an adventure. Could be a good adventure, could be a bad adventure, but it's going to be my job as the writer to tell the story about the adventure. So we've been learning through reading that one way that we can tell a story is by using characters and a setting to describe the events as they happen in order. And that's what we're going to focus on with our stories this week. So I know that our story is going to have a beginning. So I'm putting beginning for B for beginning, M for middle. Middle is where a lot of the action takes place in the story, and we really stick, stay, and stretch on the ideas that we're working on showing the reader. And then we know that we have to have an end, a way to close this story and show the reader how the backyard adventure that I'm going to be telling a story about comes to an end. So when we think about planning for that beginning, we need to include some information for the reader and describe it to them, like the setting. Where did this story take place? When did it take place? Who was there? So when I think about the information that I want to share with my reader so they get a better picture in their mind, I might want the reader to know that my story takes place in the afternoon. So I'm going to write afternoon. Let's see, and then what else? That covers when the story takes place, but I want to describe what that setting looks like. Where was I? I was in the backyard. Yard with that D sound for the ending. And again, notice I didn't write sentences yet on my plan. These are just quick ideas that I'm putting down to help organize my thinking for when I'm ready to write my sentences. So it was afternoon, we were in the backyard. Let's see, it was sunny outside. So it was sunny. And there were blue sky. The sky was blue, so I could put that, blue sky. So that shows the reader what my setting is looking like. Now I need some characters. Who actually happens or who is in my story? Well, there is Marley. And if you've seen any of my other videos so far, first grade, you know who Marley is, but not everyone has seen my other videos. So I need to capitalize the M for Marley, and I'm going to remind everybody or teach everybody this time around that Marley is my dog, and there is Mrs. Duncan, that's me. And I have to capitalize my name. Now, when I actually start writing, I'm not going to say Mrs. Duncan, Mrs. Duncan. I might say Marley and me or Marley and I throughout my writing, but that's who's telling this story is Mrs. Duncan, and I'm one of the characters in the story. So that covers my beginning, but now for that middle, I really have to get into the action. What happens to the characters throughout this story in the setting of the backyard? Well, if I wanted to continue explaining things a little bit further to my reader, we were outside and there was grass, and all of a sudden my dog Marley, he did this crazy, he lunged, and this is something that already happened before, so I'm writing it in past tense. He lunged, which is like a type of jump, and leaped, another type of jump. So he did this action, he lunged and he leaped. And I couldn't imagine, what is this dog lunging and leaping at? But then I saw it. There was something shiny Let's see, what else? It was long and it was black. Shiny, long, and black. I'm wondering what kind of things could be in the backyard, in the grass, that are shiny, long, and black. So if I wanted to show the reader, it was slithering. So in case you haven't figured it out yet, boys and girls, I'm talking about a snake. And Mrs. Duncan cannot stand snakes. She is terrified of them. And so it was slithering and climbing, and this was what Marley was after. He wanted to make friends with this slithering and climbing snake. So needless to say, all of us were frantic, but for different reasons. Marley was frantic to make friends with the snake. The snake was frantic to get away from Marley, and I was frantic just to not see the snake anymore. So this is the main action of my story, which means I'm ready for the end. How did this story finally come to an end? Well, I need to show the reader that the snake finally got over the wall, and again, notice, nowhere on this plan do you see any kind of sentences written in my ideas. These are just quick ideas that I want to remember. So let's see, the snake was gone, or at least I couldn't see it anymore. And now that all the drama was over, the snake was over the wall, it was gone, I couldn't see it, I ran inside. And so that's how I want to end my story. So when you think about your topic today, boys and girls, I want you to think about a story that maybe it's happened to you. Maybe you want to make up your own story, but I really want you to think about your beginning, where you set up with your characters and your setting, your main idea where the action of your story takes place, and then the end where you wrap things up for the reader and put a close to your narrative story. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.